academic career is having the fruits of their hard work being published as part of a research paper. A research paper which requires a lot of efforts, not just for the paper itself, but before the paper, before you get into the writing of the paper about the work that you're going to put into it so that your research paper is unique and it gets accepted. Today, joining us is Susmitha, who has had a research paper published in an international journal. So, good evening, Susmitha, and welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Aditya.
So, now, before we get into the research paper, let's look at a very straightforward scenario. We have two people who are applying for the same job. We have Mr. and Mrs. A, who have been trained at XYZ Institute. They have worked on dummy projects from Kaggle, GitHub, etc. And we have Mr. and Mrs. 360, who have trained at 360 Digit MG. They have worked on real-time projects. They have attended daily stand-up calls. They have created end-to-end data pipelines. They have done their deployment on-premise and on cloud. They have attended client meetings and they've had their research papers published in international journals. So we here notice a big difference in the effort that two candidates for the same job have put in. So a simple question here is, which one of these resumes do you think will get shortlisted for interviews? And I think at this point, this is a rhetorical question. So without any further delays, let's have Susmitha explain her project to us. So Susmitha, why don't we start by looking at the business understanding of our project?
Yeah, definitely, Aditya. So the project here that we have dealt is where the business problem is unplanned machine downtime, which is leading to loss of productivity. So that means sometimes when the machine fails completely, there will be some like productivity will be completely stopped, which may lead to the loss for the company. So the objective here we have dealt with is minimizing the unplanned machine downtime, where the constraints is to minimize the maintenance cost and maximizing the equipment efficiencies. And coming to the success criterions that we have benchmarked this, with the business success criteria, we have to reduce the unplanned downtime by at least 10%, and machine learning success criteria is to achieve a cost saving of at least $1 million, and economic success criterion is to achieve an accuracy of at least 95%.
So this is a project architecture for the project that you've worked on. And
Yes,
as
sir.
we can see here, we have a lot of moving pieces here. So I
Yes.
think everybody would do uh, good if they had a better understanding. So can you just explain this architecture to us?
Yeah, sure, definitely, Aditya. So always whenever we work on any project, right, so the strong data pipeline is essential. So which requires regular updations and monitoring in order to improve the data quality and along with the flexibility of the data. So here, coming to our project here, we have the data collection from SCADA and PLCs. Those are the two softwares that we have used, which is mostly essential for monitoring and controlling the lines. So these devices helped us to collect the data from pressure data loggers and temperatures, which used to connect most of the information from the sensor details, which is like a prior information that we require as part of our analysis. So this study proposed like a temporal systems that tries to interconnect with temperature, pressure, proximities, and angles. So all these are the some of the features that we have collected from them. And after that, we have proceeded further with EDA, where we have performed some data cleaning steps. Once we got the data cleaned, then we have used some of the BI tools such as Power BI and Tableau in order to create the dashboards. Later, we have performed with machine learning algorithms such as logistic regression, naive Bayes, decision trees, random forest, so on. All the classification problems we have performed. And then proceeding further with evaluation, we have looked with multiple matrices such as F1 score, precisions, recall. And once we found that like random forest is the best one, which is giving the best result out of all the models, then we have deployed it for the client purpose.
All right. So here, of course, we have the list of the different models that were tried out as part of this project. And as we know that random forest is the best out of them, right? As we have finally a sample output. So can you just explain what we are seeing on the screen here?
Yeah, sure. So these are the features that we have included in our data for predicting whether the machine will fail or not. So as I have said, there are like multiple sensor details. Like if you could see, there are like temperature details, pressure details, and load cells, voltage, and torque, cutting force. These are the different features that we have. So once we select the values for it, and here we have a predict button, and we will come to know whether if the readings are in this form, whether the machine will fail or it will not fail. So once we click it, we can easily predict whether the machine is failing or it is not failing it.
So thank you so much, Susmitha, for walking us through. One final question that I have for you before we let you go is related to the project research paper that you worked on, right? And as you know, it takes a lot of effort to write a research paper. So what about some of the challenges that you faced in the paper while you were working on it? And of course, how do you think that having a research paper published in your name helps you in your career?
Oh, sure. So the biggest challenge that I have faced is regarding the plagiarism. So we should have a unique content when we are publishing any research paper. So that is the biggest challenge that I have faced to reiterate everything which we have the content. And definitely, Aditya, the research paper, getting our name published in a research paper is like we will have an add-on value to the resume, because it tries to demonstrate the capability how to conduct like high quality researches. And apart from that, it is also like a strong encouragement for anybody who is putting efforts into it, when they have worked on a real world project and they name getting published in a research article. It really, it's like an impactful way for any individual.
Yes, definitely. So again, thank you so much, Sushmita, for joining and just walking us through the various challenges that you faced. And of course, the achievement in itself is a great deal, right? So, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And please do follow us on our social media platforms, that is Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, for further such content. Good evening, everyone.